following week at the Packers, Devontae Adams had a decent game. He had probably 5 catches or something like that. And then, this week Calvin Benjamin had enough to affect the Vikings defense against Rhodes, who was shadowing him. So, the other thing is you got Trey Waynes down with injury. He's supposed to have an MRI today. We don't know what the status of that is going to be for this game, which puts Mike Hughes out there more often. So, yeah, if you can criticize the Vikings for not taking an offensive lineman and taking Mike Hughes, you also have to look at it and say, where would they be if they didn't have Hughes for depth at the cornerback position when, Rhodes seems like he's hurt every game just for a little bit and comes back. But, if Waynes is out and Hughes has to play, now there's another potential opportunity for the Rams to expose him in the passing game.
Let's go to final thoughts. Mine will be kind of on the Rams and this interesting semi-rivalry that's developing here. Do want to thank Bite Squad, WizKids.tech, Mississippi Pub, Beaver Island Brewing, Twill and the Edina Galleria, FixologyRepair.com, and Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent in Champlin. Remember, go to BiteSquad.com, download their app, get food to your door in minutes. Use the promo code TALKNORTH to get your first delivery free. Use the promo code TALKNORTH after that as a favor to us, if you don't mind. We do appreciate it. Let's go to your final thought on this very interesting short week.
Well, here's how much of a difference the cornerbacks for the Rams could make. Through 2 games, now the stats from this weekend weren't updated yet, but through 2 games, Marcus Peters has only allowed a 17.2 quarterback rating. Aqib Talib was at 39.6. So if you look at that, you go, man, Cousins could have some trouble finding open receivers if those guys are shadowing Diggs and Thielen as well as they have in the first couple of games. So that to me is one of the big influencers in this game, and also, of course, the pass rush. If they're getting pressure in Kirk Cousins' face, it's going to be a long game for the Vikings.
And my thought is, we all fans, writers, everybody, we build our perceptions based on results. And this last Sunday was a reminder of how fragile the results are. I remember when the Rams came to U.S. Bank Stadium last year as a serious threat, the Vikings handled them, right? Being 24/7, it looked like just a kind of a thumping if you looked at the box score, if you watched, and yet it was a close game, and there was a play where Cooper Kupp, I believe, was stretching for the goal line. Anthony Harris stopped him, forced a fumble. Instead of a Rams touchdown, the Vikings get the ball, and then Thielen breaks a nice catch and run toward the end of the game to give them breathing margin. That was very close to being a very close game.
Yep.
And Week 1 this year, if the Vikings don't force a fumble at the goal line, we don't know how that game ends up either.
Yep. Yeah, and you talk about the big plays and how much they matter. I thought it was interesting that the Bills game for the Bills was almost the complete opposite of what they had encountered in the previous week, where maybe it was the opener where their offense had turned it over 5 times within the 25-yard line, and that just set up the opportunity for them to get blown out. Now, all of a sudden, the Bills' defense is doing the same thing to the Vikings' offense, and that really was the difference in the game. I mean, it was 10 points off turnovers. It was a 17-0 lead, and the Vikings just couldn't come back from that. So, yeah, it is always going to be about big plays at the right time. It happened with the Rams last year. It happened against the Vikings with the Bills on Sunday.
And to me, anytime I see a big upset in the NFL, it quite often comes down to either a defensive line dominating the play or special teams. And last, I think with the Bills, a lot of it was the defensive line.
Yep.
What we call